Patrick Warren Sr. consciously chose to murder Kelly Warren and Jonathan Buick. After he shoots his son, fires one round, during that time lapse, he doesn't stop. He pursues Kelly Warren.
This is a case about heat of passion and rage. We believe the evidence will show that Kelly created a fictitious person, a fictitious daughter, and he's questioning not only the existence of this Missy, but he's questioning the fidelity of his wife. Pat Warren loved his wife and kids desperately.
And while you were in the ambulance with the defendant, did you hear him make any statements driving to the hospital?
I did.
What, if anything, did you hear him say?
I heard him say that little
Well, she brings home this person, Jonathan Buick. Who did she tell you he was?
Supposedly my half-sister's fiance.
And who was Missy's mother?
Supposedly my mother.
Had you ever met Missy?
No.
Have you ever talked to her on the phone?
No.
Okay. Did Jonathan and your mom talk about Missy?
Not in front of me.
What was your dad's reaction to your mom moving down there with Mr. Buick?
Upset.
Did he ever make any threats against Mr. Buick?
Yes.
What would he say?
He threatened to kill him multiple times.
Okay. When did you notice that your dad had something in his hands?
When my mom turned around in the house, he pulled out a handgun.
Did he fire it?
Yes.
How did you know he fired it? Did you see the muzzle flash?
Yes.
Did you hear the noise?
Yes.
Okay.
My ears were ringing.
In the weeks leading up to April 4th, your father was showing signs of instability, right?
Yes.
He wasn't shaving,
Correct.
which he normally had always done.
Correct.
He wasn't sleeping much.
Correct.
He was crying all the time.
Correct.
And he, in your words, kept freaking out.
Correct.
Did you ever meet Missy?
No.
Did you ever talk to her on the phone?
Yes.
Okay, when did you talk to her on the phone?
She called me one night.
Were you surprised by that?
Yes.
What was your dad's attitude like towards Jonathan and your mother?
Mad?
Did he ever make any threats?
Yes.
And what threats did he make?
Like, when he was mad, he'd say that he was gonna kill that little
Did there come a time when you realized that your dad had a gun?
Yes.
How did you realize that?
Whenever I saw when I heard and saw the fire.
You saw the muzzle flash on the gun?
Yes.
Okay, and what did you do after you saw that?
I ran to the middle of the street.
Okay, and what were you doing?
I was screaming.
When Thanksgiving came, there was no Missy, right?
No.
And Christmas, there was no Missy.
No.
New Year's, no Missy.
No.
Have you ever, after all this investigation, talked to Missy?
No.
Have you ever had any contact with Missy?
No.
Ever learned where she is? Have you ever located where she is?
No.
How many times from the December of '07 until April of '08 would you hear Mr. Warren make threats towards those individuals?
It was mainly when he would get to drinking.
And what would he say?
He ought to go down there and just kill him.
And during that time period from December when she moved out until April, did Mr. Warren make threats towards Mr. Buick and Miss Kelly Warren?
Yeah, occasionally he'd say, I ought to go down there and kill him.
So in order to extract a live round based on your training experience from a semi-automatic, how do you have to manipulate the gun to do that?
Manually manipulate it. The cause of death is multiple gunshot wound, and the manner of death is the homicide.
So in order to fire that gun 10 or 11 times, you'd have to pull the trigger 10 or 11 times.
Yes, that's correct.
My dad had asked my mom a question about the bed, and then John had said something else.
And what did John say?
He said that, yeah, because that's the bed that I'm going to be doing your wife on.
After discussing this with your attorney, did you make a decision as to which right that you wish to exercise?
Right to remain silent.
Thank you very much, sir.
And what was your diagnosis of Mr. Wharen on that date?
Major depressive disorder.
And during the month of February, the defendant still wasn't taking the medication you had indicated he should go purchase, correct?
No, he never did.
Were you aware that he paid over $500 for a firearm in the month of February 2008?
Nope.
Mr. McCarthy, anything else at this time, sir?
Defense would rest.
Premeditated? How do we ignore January, February, and March repeatedly, not thinking to yourself inside your head, verbalizing it to other people that you trust, your children and your neighbors, how to go over there and kill them? How is that heat of passion?
You can't think, I would hope, that he's thinking about what he's doing. Yeah, it takes an action to do things. He was going straight forward, and nobody was going to be in his way. Through the gate, through his son, through a doorway, through another doorway, nothing was stopping him. Is that premeditation? Is that reflection? Or is that just pure rage, anger, heat of passion? Don't fault him. Don't punish him for holding on to it as long as he did.
He's got to open the gun case. He's got to pull out the gun box. He's got to open the gun box, get the gun out, load the magazine, put a round in the chamber, and go down to that house. He was angry at both of them, angry at the situation. That's his motive for the killing. That's his motive. And I'm telling you, it's not control. It's stewing. He was stewing about this situation. Stewing about it. He wanted them both dead, and he accomplished it.
State of Florida versus Patrick Wharen Sr. We, the jury, as to count one, Kelly Wharen, find as follows. The defendant, Patrick Wharen Sr., is guilty of first-degree premeditated murder. We, the jury, as to count two, Jonathan Buick, find as follows. The defendant, Patrick Wharen Sr., is guilty of first-degree premeditated murder. We, the jury, finds as follows as to count one, Kelly Wharen. The jury advises and recommends to the court that it imposes a life sentence, imprisonment upon Patrick Wharen Sr. without possibility of parole. We, the jury, finds the following as to count two, Jonathan Buick. We, the jury, advise and recommend to the court that it impose a sentence of life imprisonment upon Patrick Wharen Sr. without possibility of parole.
As to count one, as it pertains to first-degree premeditated murder with the firearm, as it pertains to Kelly Wharen, I previously adjudicated you, sir, and it'll be sentenced you to life in prison without the possibility of parole. As to count two, first-degree premeditated murder with the firearm, as it pertains to the life, rather to the, the shooting death of Jonathan Buick, I'm going to adjudicate you guilty, previously adjudicated you guilty and sentence you to life without the possibility of parole, and I'm going to sentence you consecutive to count one for whatever meaning it has.